and part of your marketing strategy was, I'm not too sure who my target market is or who my customer is, but I'm just going to tell everyone in the entire world about this, you're likely going to have a really tough time succeeding. So the same way in a marketing strategy you need to have a target market and certain niches, I believe the same exists for how you go and approach recruitment strategy. So the next piece here is candidate sourcing, and here's kind of a diagram that kind of gives a bit of a spectrum of how things could potentially be architected. So on the left here, what you've got is your core careers website, and from your careers website, there's a few areas that things get distributed out, and that should be components of that careers website. One being job posting, and I'll talk to that in a second. Second being a talent hub, and I'll talk to that as well, and then finally being reporting. So to start off with the job posting stuff, I'm going to give specific examples, but there are really kind of three key components of advertising jobs. One is basic search engine optimization. So are your job postings from your career site being indexed with Google and Yahoo? So when somebody searches for store manager Prince George, store manager Fort Nelson, store manager Etobicoke, that your pages are optimized to start getting that traffic directly from the search engines, instead of paying a job board to push your jobs out to the search engine. So I'm going to talk to that in more detail. The second piece is social. So there is a lot of very simple ways now available to make sure that your jobs are being distributed through your key communities and your pages and sites, such as Twitter and LinkedIn and Facebook, and I'm going to give some specific examples of that shortly. The next piece is job boards and aggregators. So for those of you on the call that are unfamiliar with aggregators, I'm actually going to talk quite a bit about that in the next couple slides here. But aggregators are sites like Indeed.ca, Simply Hired, WowJobs.ca, and also Eluta, ELUTA.ca. There's a few others in the States, like this one called Juju, JUJU.com, but Indeed, Simply Hired, WowJobs, and Eluta are really the big four in Canada. And what these are is they're basically placeholders. They scrape all the jobs from all the different job boards all over the web, and they put all the job boards, all the postings from all over the web in one searchable interface. So it's simpler for candidates. They don't have to go log into Workopolis and Monster and or Job Bank. They can go log in. They can go to Indeed and go view all the jobs there at once. And I certainly encourage you to have a look at if your jobs are being pushed out there or not, and we'll have a test on that shortly. Job boards I don't have to explain, obviously the major ones and the free ones, and then finally email, RSS, and bookmarking. Some of the recruitment technology that's available. If you had a job opportunity come up and immediately it was being submitted to search engines, to the job aggregators, being pushed out to your social media sites, but then also emailing any candidate automatically that has stated interest in either that region or job category, you start to build a very successful and a good multi-channel sourcing strategy right off the hop. The next piece here, and I'll go through some different companies that have got great examples of this. Talent Hub. So this seems to be a massive trend right now that's happening with all career sites, and sales and marketing has understood this for a while. Is when you go to a site, when a company gets a visitor to their site, they need to find really smart ways to capture that unique visitor's data. So maybe it's, companies have used download this white paper, fill out this form to watch this video, sign up for our blog or newsletter, for example. And the new career site modules and the new technology that I'm seeing built is doing an excellent job of doing this. So what it's happening is a job seeker would essentially go from find a job on the web, go to the careers website, then get asked, as far as this capture candidate database, is some basic information to capture from that visitor prior to going in and actually uploading their resume. And what we're finding is that a lot of the time that information is managed in much more of a CRM or customer relationship management type tool. And we're finding right now with the new platform we've just recently implemented that we're capturing approximately 30% more applicants that visit your site. So what this means is if 100 people visited our site under the old practices of uploading the resume, if we were traditionally capturing 10% of the visitors that were visiting the site, versus now what we're seeing anywhere from 25 to 30% we're capturing because of this basic form and talent capture database. It's making massive implications for us on the advertising dollars we're spending. If you could triple the number of applicants you're able to capture from your advertising dollars, you start to, you're going to dramatically improve your ROI. But also, the second that person comes to your site, you need to capture them. So that's kind of a key component. And I'm not going to talk about the mobile stuff here currently today. And then finally, reporting. So, where are your visitors coming from, and who's visiting your site, and which one of these sources is working for you. And my recommendation is to go and layer Google Analytics into your careers page or careers site. And Google Analytics is free, and it'll give you great data on where your traffic's coming from. So I actually asked a question on LinkedIn earlier this week in preparation for this webinar saying, what are your favorite corporate careers websites and why? And got some great answers back. And one of the, obviously a very well-known retailer in Canada being Holt Renfrew. I'm actually going to show you their site. They've done a phenomenal job, and I just want to kind of go through the site a little bit and tell you why I think they've done a great job with it. So first of all, it's a flashy site, but their brand is a flashy brand to begin with. So here at Holt's, we've got, obviously the, this is where you can see I Shine. They've got a few different types of videos, I Aspire, and what they've actually done is they've grouped things into very specific things. So I Shine, I Prosper, and let me show you here. So one, you can, so skip intro, so you've got videos here. Now you won't be able to hear the audio, but what they've done is they've attached some things, there's some statements to their employment brand here. One of the things is I Shine. So recognition and communication programs highlight my value as an employee, and it goes into, and again, I've got it on mute, so you won't be able to see this, but I encourage you to check out the site. Some great videos around, I Shine, and then I Aspire to grow and to improve myself, a video around that, so Prosper, Thrive. So they've done a really good job, I think very smart, and a really simple message on what I get from this is they've taken their employment brand and said, listen, this is a platform for career development, this is a platform for growth, and also by using some great videos, because they've walked the fine line between creating a professional video but not making it corporate, if that makes sense. So I wanted to show you this really quick, and then they've got some great things around Meet Our People. This is more and more, this Meet Our People thing is starting to happen more and more on sites by showing people, introducing who works at the company. You're seeing they're doing this pretty raw right in the store. And again, I look at the navigation of this. It's basic, but the content they've put in is excellent. So I wanted to show you this site because if you're looking at a careers website, you're looking at ideas, this certainly is a good one to first have a look at. So they've got some great content, and then obviously they've got a one of the top-end applicant tracking systems on the market. They've got Taleo on their back end to basically go and search for jobs. So again, so you can see all the jobs coming out, and they use Taleo as this. So they've got a great system here to basically drive candidates in. So I'm just going to go back to the webinar here, so I wanted to show you that site is kind of, and why I think it's critical is if you've got a really poor site or an inability to capture candidates effectively, then a lot of your advertising dollars are really going to be wasted. Not all of them are going to be wasted, but a good percentage of them will be wasted. Is when you think about the core strategy of a site and a sourcing channel and a sourcing strategy, the same way that marketing tries to generate leads and names for sales, the career site needs to generate leads and potential talent for the recruitment team. So the sections and the key areas I want to talk about in regards to kind of the second key strategies around your sourcing strategy. So job aggregators. As I mentioned a couple slides back, that there's some great aggregators available on the web that do a phenomenal job of driving traffic. So believe it or not, Indeed.ca, I believe it does approximately, I think it's around 30,000 hits. And actually, maybe I'll hop into this tool and I'll actually show you. But Holt's, for example, so I wanted to show you what Holt's did is they've got their, you can see here, they've got their postings from their career site being directly sent to these job aggregators. And that, to me, is one of the core best practices, that it is simple to set up with a little bit of IT support, and it will have an immediate impact. And the best thing about this is it's free, right? I know everybody on that call loves free. I love free. It's the right price for everybody, and it typically has some phenomenal results. So you can see here that they've got their postings, as I mentioned with the job distribution platform is they've taken their site and they've taken the jobs and they've made sure it integrates. And all you have to do to get your jobs on Indeed is to go to Publishers, I believe it is, or About, and it walks you through those steps of submitting something called an XML feed, and this is where your IT department can help you on that. So I wanted to show you that really quick because I think Whole Renfrew's done a great job, and they're not a client by any means. This isn't us doing this for them. They've obviously got some very sharp people over there who are across kind of some of the key strategies. So I wanted to show you that. And what I'll actually do here is I'm actually going to show you an idea here of, one second. Compete.com. So Compete.com is just a site that we use, and what it does is it actually compares traffic. So I'll show you something kind of interesting here as far as some of the best practices on sourcing. So what we spend a lot of time on is how do we get directly to the candidate versus having to go pay an intermediary to go and submit our job postings directly to them. So these job aggregators, as I mentioned, so if you go Indeed.ca, and then we've got simplyhired.ca, and then wowjobs.ca. So if I go compare these three sites, what it's going to do is it's going to show me for kind of the last 6 months the number of unique visitors each of the sites get. Now this is going to blow you away because for whatever reason, WowJobs, 45,000 unique visitors they had in the month of, was that January, February, March? April is number 04. So in April they had a ton of hits, 45,000. And you can see here these are free tools to be able to go get your job syndicated to. So this is why I think this is a must-have strategy because A, it saves you money, and B, these guys spend a bucket of time and money on how to go and optimize your jobs in remote communities. I can guarantee you that anyone on this call with a remote community right now, if you go search sales associate and the remote community that you're trying to find people in, I will literally bet my money on 3 out of the top 5 results that come back from that will be WowJobs, Indeed, and Simply Hired, because they're the ones that are really spending the time to optimize these pages in some of these remote communities. So I've got a question coming up about remote communities in a second because I know that's obviously a challenge for many of you on the call. So I hope that was helpful, and most importantly, I just wanted to prove to you that and show you that if you're thinking about advertising strategy, some of the best things you can do right now is not go ramp up and spend more money. It's getting smarter about how you're syndicating and distributing your jobs. Okay, so pardon me for 1 second. Sorry about that. So search engines. So here's another example. So candidates, there's 10 times more people that go Googling for jobs than there are who go to these job boards directly. So here's an example of a search that says grocery store manager job Toronto, right? Sure enough, there's Indeed, right? So, Oodle is another one, and some of you may be familiar with Oodle. Oodle is another free classified site, another place where you can post your jobs for free. Oh, look at that. That is one of our clients are coming up, number 1. So grocery store manager. Now, the kicker is these guys definitely aren't a grocery store, so there's obviously some other keywords involved here. But you can see that out of, what's funny here is you go look at, okay, so how many of these sites are actual paid jobs, right? Job is free. Indeed's free, Oodle's free, so Simply Hired is free. Then finally you get to the monster, and here's the WowJobs one, right? So what I wanted to clear, this type of search, by the way, is exactly the way people are looking for jobs. They're going by job title and location, and they may actually be even defining the sector, so fashion or grocery or home improvement or something along those lines. So I hope that gives you some perspective there. The next piece is social media. So this was a fantastic blog. These guys, the Undercover Recruiter, does a phenomenal job of blogging. But I wanted to give you an example. He had a great post a while back about showing companies, major retailers, that are using Twitter to go post their jobs and a little bit of how they're doing it. So they've organized it by different. And again, if you wanted this, if you wanted the URL, I'll give you a second here to have a look at it. It's the undercoverrecruiter.com content list -- employers posting jobs Twitter. So it's obviously going to be up there. But I'll go to the retail section, and I think they've done a good job here of looking at some of the retailers that have done a good job on doing this. So let's go. I'm just going to pop into H&M first.